They say when somebody has a camera by the side, a book to read, pages to write, and in the mind you are a traveler, you are that person who's complete. You don't need a friend, you don't need anything else because you're actually traveling with the whole lot of companions together. I'm talking about this person who's made his ikigai literally the passion to earn from it. And I'm very happy and pleased to be on a live location at Kunzum Cafe. And this beautiful person called Ajay Jain is right in front of me. So welcome, Ajay. This is a second act podcast live, literally live in location, not live in live. But we don't do this often, but thank you for giving this space and welcome. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good and thank you for having me on your show. And I think and you were very flattering in my introduction.
Oh, no.
Thank you.
So Ajay, I wanted to ask you, of course, starting from, we are surrounded by books.
Yeah.
And my first question literally is, did you really dream of this while you were growing up?
No, and I have a take on dreams. Dreams are never static. They keep
That's also
evolving. They keep,
Yeah.
depending on our situation, depending on our experiences, depending who we've met, what we've gone through in life, dreams keep changing, right? So
Maybe.
if somebody says that, oh, did I have a dream opening a bookshop when I was 10 or 15? I think no, that would be misleading. And because just like every night you have a fresh dream, right? So it goes for work also.
No, so Ajay, my question was more about surrounded by books. So did you read from the very beginning or?
Yeah, I think fortunately what I can say is that all of us above a certain age, we all read books,
Yes.
right? And it was just part of popular culture. It was possibly the only entertainment available to us. So if I look back at so many of my classmates, my batchmates from school, I think whether you were first in class or 50th in class, I think everybody read books.
Wow, because I think, while I was growing up, books were there, but I was not a ferocious reader. And when I rewind life, I feel, why did I not read so many books? In fact, books have become a part of my companion now. And thanks to so much available, and of course, the work that I do in Second Act, there is so much to learn from. And these books are so helpful. And
Absolutely, there's no better teacher than books. So, and I think if anybody is not reading, they're not growing.
That's a very good one that you said. That's so true. But along the way, I see, books which are kept here, of course, right here, and a lot of the others as well. Tell us, how did you actually get into, something? And do you have a style of writing? This is about your photography, I see. So do you have like things that you follow, in a processed manner? Like, do you know what you want to shoot one day, or is it like just whatever comes your way and whatever you want to write?
So, when it comes to photography, I identify myself as a travel photographer.
Nice.
So, if you ask me to come and do a commission shoot, I'll probably make a hash of it. Right? And the thing about travel photography is you're on a journey, you don't know what to expect. I set myself up for surprises because if I know what I'm going to be shooting, it's already out there. So how do I bring back fresh images? And then, of course, I love talking to people. I love people photography in particular and things people do.
Wow.
Right. So for me, that's what travel has meant. Going out, sitting in my car, driving across the country, discovering things I did not know existed. And in fact, the name Kunzum also came from a place in Spiti. It's
Right.
in Himachal, and I didn't even know a spot like that existed till I actually went on a drive in 2007.
Wow.
Right. So so I don't pre-plan my photography. I know many a time what I can roughly expect, but I allow surprises to come in. And when it comes to style of writing, I can't say I have a particular style of writing because every time I start a book project, like I look at it afresh. I templatize it differently, and so if you see my books, they've all they've been written and presented and designed very differently.
Right. So tell me, what was your life before this life? So before Kunzum happened in your life?
So I think while the show is second act, I'm probably on my fourth or fifth act, right? So I started the conventional way, engineering, MBA, and into the IT industry. So that was my first act. My second act was being in sports management.
Wow.
Yes, so I did that for a few years. Then I dropped everything, and then at the ripe age of 31, my third act came in when I went back to school to pursue a master's in journalism in the UK.
Wow.
I came back, worked for the Express Group. I published my own youth newspaper after that.
Wow.
I got into tech and business blogging and writing columns for different publications. So that was like kind of hardcore journalism. And then my fourth act was getting to travel writing. That's how the brand Kunzum was created. And in a way, setting up these kind of pivoting Kunzum into a chain of bookstores is probably, you can call it, my fifth act.
Wow. So I just want to tell you that second act is just a metaphor. It is something.
I figured that.
So it's not literally what you do the second time or the third time. It's something that inspires you for a better version of you, or something that gives you a higher purpose.
Absolutely.
So,
I think it's a great concept, and I think if all of us keep our minds open, that there could be another act that we could try our hands at. That's what motivates you to keep going on a day-to-day basis. So I think it's kudos to you for bringing all these stories together and inspiring other people.
Oh, thanks. The stories are yours, just the platform. But thank you for sharing. So, you spoke about doing your MBA, you spoke about doing journalism. So you're still, experimenting at different stages of your life, definitely. And somewhere they're all interrelated as well, because travel, photography, writing, blogging, books, it's so interrelated. How beautifully that your life is spun, and it is also because you kept an open mind. What do you have to tell to people, or to the younger lot, okay, who are always in this mindset of exploration from your life?
I would say keep dreaming. And when you allow yourself to dream, new dreams keep coming up all the time, right? You can't pursue every dream, but make a short list what you want to pursue. Then from the short list, you identify one in that moment. You may get into another act later. That's a different matter. But eventually zero in on, say, one dream of yours, and then work very hard. You have to excel, because the other thing I keep telling everyone, especially the young people, I said, look, it's very easy to be passionate about something, but behind every passion, converting into something more tangible is a lot of hard work, right? Which means you have to kind of train yourself, skill yourself to do a good job of it, then dedicate yourself to do a good job of it, because otherwise it's just like smoke without fire. Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, I may be passionate about climbing the Mount Everest, but if I don't train for 3 years, I don't get myself fit, I don't prepare myself correctly, right?
You're signed up for failure.
I won't even go beyond. I'll be lucky to make it to the base camp.
Yeah, you're so right. So I'm sure that there are also experiences of downfall, for setbacks, because not everything that you wanted in a way that it worked out. So how did you handle that?
So I think very often the next act followed some kind of a setback, right? So rather than digging myself into a hole and moping over it, I said, let's reinvent ourselves.
Wow.
Yeah. So there was it was always, even if something didn't go wrong, right? There were stages when I felt, okay, it's not the right thing, or it's no longer the right thing for me. I need to do something else. I need to evolve. Right. And so setbacks are, only if you experiment, will there be failures. So otherwise it's I can say this for, say, some of my friends and classmates, right? Do your engineering, do your masters, get into a job at Microsoft or Google, and you're still there 30 years later. You have a secure job, everything's fine in the family, you've got a good house, blah, 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 right? But they're not on the show. They're not on the show.
Oh, that. Actually, that was pretty much my life, I have to say. But I think, you just need to nudge yourself, and, rather than moaning over what happened, a step further is always very, very nice. So, that's a good learning. So I want to ask you, since we touched upon second act, literally now that life is shaping up in this way, right? This is your fifth store. I mean, I don't know in series, but you have 5 stores
Yeah.
in Delhi NCR. Where is your second act of this phase taking you? Or what is your second act, literally?
So I see in a kind of okay, we are in the business of selling books, right? And we are in the business of selling books for a profit, right? But the motivation is that we contribute to a greater culture of reading and
Right.
actually even writing in the process, because if there are more readers, there'll be more people motivated to write more, and then there'll be like and so better books and more books are going to be written, and that will lead to a greater cultural development. It'll also lead to greater individual and societal development. It also means that there'll be greater awareness about what's right and about what's wrong, and then people in general will be able to decide what's good for humanity, for a natural world, for
Yeah.
everything on the planet, right? And it all comes from books.
That's true.
Yeah.
But don't you think books are a thought process of one particular person?
So you don't read one book, you read many books, right? And then and irrespective of what that one person, one author or 100 authors that you read, right? Eventually you have to process it, from your perspective, right? What you're getting is a perspective, a certain kind of information from the books you read. But then that's what the human mind intelligence is all about, right?
Which is
you,
true.
you process it differently.
Yeah. So, is there anything that you would pick up every now and then to remind yourself whenever you are just wavering or losing track?
Yeah. So,
Which
well,
one?
it's early days to waver in this business, right? And but I
But in life, I mean, not
Yeah.
really in business, but in life, do you pick up something to say, oh, I must go and read back?
Yeah,
Because
so again,
that.
I don't say that I read a particular kind of books. I have a very open mind to it, but the kind of books that really, when I'm feeling a little down and out, or if I'm feeling like a little lost, the books that really help me and are fiction books, right? Because
Wow.
losing yourself into stories they may be fictional, but eventually, directly in a way, they all kind of have a message for us, and they kind of fire up our imagination in different ways. And it's like, take all other forms of entertainment, right? We go and watch when we're feeling a little bored, we're feeling a little low. We go and watch a nice show on television, or we
Yeah.
go and watch a nice movie.
Yeah.
And most of these are fictional, right? We don't go and watch it. We don't very often go and watch a documentary, right?
Yeah.
So the same goes for books, right? When people say, "Oh, I'm a little down and out in life," or "I must read a self-help book," or or if you are stuck for some ideas, I must read a business book. That's fine,
Right.
But that is information that you can kind of absorb, within a finite amount of reading. But it's only if you read more fiction, right? That's when you lose yourself in a different world. And fiction books have so many messages to give you anyway.
Yeah. They take you away from everything which is happening
Yeah,
to,
yeah. And fiction is also has a very therapeutic effect on you in a positive way. Like you sleep better, you analyze better, your processing power goes up, your memory goes up. You are generally a happier person reading fiction.
Right.
And yeah, so yeah.
So good. And I see Kunzum doing a lot of initiatives now, because I'm following you on all social media. So I see you are working a lot on kids, you're working a lot on Midnight Book Club that you,
Yeah.
I think, recently launched. I think you have a CEO club, which I recently got to know. So, what are the kind of initiatives and what is the intention behind it?
So eventually, so what we're really trying to do is build communities,
Right.
but build focused communities,
Right.
right? So we have Book Bees, which is a book club for children, right? Then we have a CEO book club. The idea is that we reach out to CEOs and other senior management to spread the culture of reading within their organizations. Because if they say that all leaders are readers, it's you need readers to nurture them into leaders,
That's true.
right? So we're doing that, and then we are doing some fun events like we have this event coming up called Midnight in the Bookstore, where
Oh.
everyone comes and they come after sunset and they stay at Kunzum till midnight, and we talk books, we browse books, we shop books, we have like a few drinks, we have snacks, and we chat. So we are like kind of bringing fun back into reading as a community.
I think that's a great concept. I'm going to come and, of course,
Certainly.
experience that as
Yeah,
well.
of course you should.
And I think that goes very well with the younger lot as well, because they are literally not sleeping till midnight. So if they can engage themselves in books,
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, these younger kids can be like gaining so much out of
Yeah,
it. And,
absolutely.
and there's wine. I mean,
Yeah.
who would want to miss that?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So there is, of course, a very defined structure that I see in your life, which is right from travel to photography. If you weren't doing any of this, what would you be doing in a day?
I would be a full-time environmentalist.
Wow. And what do you now do in this life to, create that space? Or do you consciously do something for conscious living, as they say?
So, in a way, I'm an environmentalist at heart,
Wow.
right? I'm not saying that I am the perfect example or the right example necessarily. Because see, again, environmentalism is something which is not like, again, we tend to take extreme views, and I can go on and on because I've done a lot of reading on this. I've done some writing on environmentalism. Basically, it all boils down to we have to cut consumerism. Period. Right? If as human beings we buy less, and there's no such thing as eco-friendly or recycled or reused or whatever. The fact is, as long as we keep consuming,
Yeah.
we are
So true.
we are a burden on the planet in terms of consuming resources and sending waste back.
Yeah.
Right?
So are you a minimalist?
I'm not a hardcore minimalist, but I do pause to think before making any purchase now. And if I feel that okay, I can do without this shirt, I try not to buy the shirt.
Right.
Right? And likewise, like if I go shopping, I make sure I take my own bags. They may be all
Small.
symbolic,
Yes.
right? But the thing is, you keep thinking about okay, and then eventually, if everybody starts thinking, symbolism will lead to a thought process, and a thought process will lead to larger collective action,
Yeah.
which will help the environment.
So are you also a vegan?
I'm a vegetarian by birth, by religion, by family upbringing. So I'm not a vegan, but I'm a vegetarian. So I don't have meat, fish, eggs. So vegetarian as
Okay.
defined in India.
All right. So when you talk about environment, do you also have you structured your cafes in a certain way, which are environment friendly, or do you not do some things which are harmful? Have you
Yeah,
put
so
some?
we've tried to kind of minimize waste and consumption.
Okay.
In our stores, for example, we don't give shopping bags unless you make a purchase, you buy them. So you have to buy the shopping bags, right? So we don't give them indiscriminately.
Right.
So that's one. We get a lot of books every day, and they come in cartons. We make sure those cartons go back into recycling, right? And we made sure that while you may see a lot of lighting here, but it's all LED lighting to kind of
Right.
keep the overall burden down. We try to make sure that whatever packaging waste, whatever we're generating, to see if we can kind of reuse it somewhere. And we are actually a very low impact store. We hardly generate any waste or emissions here.
Yeah, that's the step to conscious living, and
Yeah.
I'm also getting there slowly and softly, I would say.
Yeah.
So I think we all need to do our bit, and whatever we can do for the environment. Otherwise, any which way, I think we are suffering every day, and it's not an easy life anyway. So Ajay, this, of course, Second Act has a story of inspiration, of something that has given you a meaning. If I ask you in your life, what is that inspiration or that person or that book or that that person, something that has really taken you forward? Is there something that you follow?
I don't know, because I think from very early on in my life, like I always kind of try to do things different. But maybe for a long time, especially when you're in school, you're in a kind of a confined environment at home. You have to follow some rules at home. Maybe like a lot of things I had in mind, maybe I could not kind of run with them. But I think somehow I won't attribute it to kind of one person or one situation or one book or something. But I think if as human beings, if we keep our mind open,
Right.
right, and we look around at what's good, people who are doing good stuff, people who are doing great creative stuff, right, and we seek inspiration from them and we try to emulate them. I think your greatest inspiration is an open mind.
True. But has there been ever a moment in your life which was a life-changing moment for you?
Oh yeah, every act, every new act followed a life-changing moment.
Ah.
Yeah. So it wasn't this suddenly I said, okay, today I'll stop doing this, and
Right.
because something happened, for good or for worse, but something happened which made me sit back and say, okay, time for some course correction, maybe time for going on a different kind of a journey,
Right.
metaphorically and literally. So everything, whether personal or professional, there was always something that kind of triggered off. Okay, I need to. So rather than kind of again getting bogged down by something that kind of was supposedly pulling you back, for a while you do feel kind of pulled down, but then I said, okay. Then my sense of self-preservation, sense of adventure kicks in, and I say, okay, I still need to make sure that I don't waste any part of my life, right? Need to keep doing something more meaningful, need to keep doing something more adventurous, something more creative, and then you kind of, say, okay, get up and get out and do stuff.
And you've been writing since how long?
So as an author, so I wrote my first book in 2007. I got trained as a journalist in 2001, 2002. So it's been actually 20 years when I've been writing in various capacities professionally.
Right.
Yeah, and otherwise, so professionally I've been writing for 20 years now.
And you published the first book in 2007?
Yeah, so that's 15 years back.
And so what was that inspiration to write that book? Which was that one?
So that's actually out of print because I need to update that, and I don't think I'm going to update it. It was actually a book on LinkedIn because I was doing some tech columns at that time. So I wrote a book on how to use LinkedIn to get ahead at work.
Wow.
So that was my first book. And basically,
good.
I started writing books because I wanted to write books and be known for writing books. I just wanted to write books.
Wow. So 2007, LinkedIn was already in the pair.
It was a big deal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm quite surprised.
In fact, I found LinkedIn to be offering me greater value then than now.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And what's the difference?
I think it's become too cluttered. Earlier it was like quite simple, quite straightforward. The engagements were quite kind of, if you asked for something specific, you got the answers and you got the right answers. But today, I think
everybody's on LinkedIn.
It's become like a kind of a Facebook/Instagram. Like it's just a big clutter. And I think LinkedIn shouldn't have sold out. So the original founders, they were doing it right. And now the new owners, I don't think so.
Okay. So if there is something that you want to, on a social media platform, relay back to or you believe in, is there any channel right now?
Okay, this may sound strange, but given a choice, I would unplug from every smart gadget. I would go off social media, and I would just, for communication, I would just buy a 2,000 rupee Nokia phone, which is like, you punch that 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And so for me, using technology is a necessary evil to do stuff at work.
Yeah.
But I use it only as much as required to communicate and to kind of connect with people. I don't put anything personal on social media. So for me, I think the analog world, the world of the printed world, a world where we talk to each other face to face, I think I would take that world anytime than this whole tech-driven piece.
Yeah, like you said, it's a necessary evil. We all have to go through it.
Yeah, and this shows on this platform like YouTube or wherever you propagate it. Yeah, but okay, so
thanks to that, we are sitting here today.
Yeah,
I wouldn't have found you.
So that's what I'm saying. So it's a good thing. I use it only up to for the purpose of communication and connecting. But like a lot of people say, I posted that, and did you see that? I said, I avoid browsing through feeds, so I may not have seen it. So people sometimes get upset. I said, look, that's me.
Yeah, but people go through a lot of FOMO, if you've heard the term,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
the fear of missing out, like looking at other people's feeds and say, oh my goodness, why don't I have it,
Yeah, so, but they should have a FOMO for books, because once they start reading books, if they aren't reading already, they'll realize that's where they were missing out.
So how many books do you read in a month?
There's no number.
Okay.
And I'll be honest, it could be, I could finish a book in 3 days. I could keep reading a book for 2 weeks. It all depends a little bit on the work patterns, but I'm trying that I read every day.
So mental health is something that is, of course, the term has come to us very recently. We have all become very aware of how we are feeling mentally, physically, emotionally, psychologically. What do you do to be in balance?
Um, I keep reminding myself that I need to make the most of this one life that I have, right? And any influences, um, anything that kind of any negative force, any toxic force, right? While you can't 100% avoid them, but kind of you just try to skirt them. Either you handle the situation, you sort out the issue, or you just let go. And I think, uh, and that comes from a kind of an inherent sense of, uh, being able to detach yourself.
That's true.
Yeah, sometimes whether it's a relationship, it's a business matter, it's a money matter, sometimes you just say, okay, let go, right? And because otherwise sometimes
Yeah.
people just go round and round in circles for days, weeks, months, years, right? And what they're losing out is the most valuable commodity, which is time.
Oh, yeah, so true. And how important do you think conversation is?
I think they are extremely important, but they shouldn't come to a point which is about chattering. People, you see two people or three people sitting in a train or a bus, and they'll go yak, 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 yak. And okay, one doesn't need to eavesdrop, but sometimes you get a sense, okay, people are just talking inane stuff. So conversations which are, talk inane stuff also. It's like, sometimes you do need your, whatever, a sugary drink, or you need your, okay, so yak is the equivalent of a sugary drink, right? But I think we should seek out people with whom we can have interesting conversations.
Right.
It could be on any topic under the sun, right? But have informed discussions, have balanced discussions, have uplifting conversations, even if it's like, sharing jokes, right? Or it's talking about world affairs, or it's talking about books that we've read. It's talking about, what, I saw this movie, what if I made this movie differently? But come from a position of information, knowledge, and perspective. Not because, again, we know enough, like armchair commentators who'll have an opinion on everything from politics to cricket, but if you kind of quiz them, they wouldn't have kind of deep dived into the matter, right? But they'll have an opinion. Like, have you deep dived? So seek out people with whom you can have uplifting conversations. So conversations are extremely important, and nothing beats conversations in person.
Yeah. So now we come to a rapid fire round, because we can't taper this off before knowing a little bit more about you and putting you in a spot. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay. So my first question is, describe yourself in 3 words.
Creative, adventurous, traveler.
Great. Something that lifts you every morning.
My coffee with cake.
With cake?
Yeah, I start my morning with black coffee and a tea cake.
Wow, never heard of that. Okay. Last thing that you do before going to bed.
I try to read, and I usually read now.
When somebody meets you for the first time, what is that first thing that strikes you?
Well, I just look for signals from the person, right? In terms of the whole body language, the conversation. What are the people? What do they want to talk about, right? And just those first few lines exchanged between two people tells me a lot. Sometimes I get it wrong, right? But but so.
Okay, so I want to ask you, success to you is?
Success at one level, yeah, obviously financial success is important when it comes
Yeah.
to work, because if you can't sustain yourself financially, right, then obviously things are going to fall like a house
Yeah.
of cards. But more importantly, I think almost everything I've done, there's been a kind of a larger motivation behind it to make a larger impact. So, for
Wow.
example, as a travel writer, if I could inspire more people to travel as travelers and not as tourists, right, and
Yeah.
have a positive impact on their lives, that for me is success.
Nice.
Or by setting up Kunzum as a chain of bookstores, if we can get more people to read,
Wow.
then we'll be a more balanced and a more more evolved society.
Right.
So if we can, so that's success for me.
Beautiful. And my last question. So, if you want to leave something for people who are seeing us today or hearing us, what is that one thing that you want to tell?
I would say everyone should make it a point to read a book for 30 minutes a day. And when I
Nice.
say read a book, I would say put your gadgets away, take a book, print it on paper, and read it. And I can assure you, magic will follow in your life after that. Otherwise, take your money back.
Take your money back, guys. So, all right. So, thank you. It was so heartening to be with you, and especially in this space, I think it made so much of a difference. I'm so enchanted, and I want to pick up a book and start reading right now.
You should.
So, thanks so much.